The glamour of Hollywood seems so out of reach. It certainly felt that way when I was a kid, and I'll age myself a little bit here, watching Lucille Ball and Carol Burnett, loving their physical comedy and quick wit. And of course, I was awed by Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke and inspired by the incredible Wizard of Oz and Mary Poppins with their creative displays of color and animation, all appearing to be magic. It all looked so easy, which was part of the mystique of Hollywood, and I think perhaps still is. What was also apparent was the challenge for many folks to break into the world of film, either because it required a degree of privilege translated to mean access, or because they had absolutely no experience and therefore wouldn't be considered for a job in any capacity. Hollywood was not particularly diverse, although there were exceptions, and Hollywood seemed to struggle with engaging in truly opening doors for newcomers without their having the background to warrant such an invitation. Welcome to Small and Gutsy, our podcast featuring nonprofits and social enterprises under $10 million. My name is Dr. Laura Shirk-Witkoff, and I'm excited and proud to be your host. We hope you'll love the stories as much as we do, and perhaps you'll find needed services, a job, volunteer, invest in, or donate. Small and Gutsy is not just a podcast, but a 501c3 nonprofit. Our vision is to spotlight every smaller nonprofit and social enterprise to raise their visibility. So please help me with our vision and send me any organization you'd like featured to laura@smallandgutsy.org. Hollywood was pressured to include greater diversity and would, at times, tout this as a priority. However, there was little to no foundation for individuals from diverse backgrounds with little economic flexibility to step into, or better yet, be invited into this competitive landscape. One woman saw this gap when she was teaching in a Manhattan public school where low-income students were unable to compete, and she became determined to close this gap in the entertainment world. Film2Future, known as F2F, I love that, such a great alliteration, is a nonprofit on a mission to change the face of Hollywood by giving underserved LA-based teenagers access to professional-level filmmaking programs and employment opportunities. Their goal is to diversify the entertainment industry workforce and inspire future filmmakers. Founded in 2016 by Rachel Miller, F2F empowers a new generation of diverse content creators to share their stories and to obtain paid positions across the entertainment industry. Hollywood executives, legendary filmmakers, and thought leaders from across the entertainment and media landscape volunteer as guest speakers as part of F2F's intensive, hands-on curriculum. Each F2F student graduates with a creative, real, competitive resume, networking and interview skills, and an industry mentor. Fabulous. F2F's vision is to promote change by giving underserved youth access to education and employment opportunities. And their mission is to inspire and empower diversity in a new generation of filmmakers through traditional and emerging technologies. Film2Future launched with 4 professional workshops: narrative filmmaking, animation, emerging technologies, and advertising, all areas that can use both support and need diversity. F2F brings in over 100 and maybe more now volunteers, all professionals within the entertainment industry, where students learn from these subject matter experts. Their curriculum is structured to have students return to the program each year to learn new filmmaking aspects and updates to current technology. They also teach essential life skills, which I personally love, such as resume writing, proper interview techniques, financial literacy, and how to build a portfolio. Upon graduation, Film2Future places students in paid internships and production assistant roles. Rachel Miller, the founder of Film2Future, recognized that the real problem for Hollywood was the lack of diverse students at the start of the pipeline. Hence her belief that teaching these skills in high school will yield the next generation of diverse creatives, and it has done just that. Since its inception, more than 225 students have gone through the F2F program. 135 have been placed in paid internships, including production assistant opportunities, and have earned over $2 million in college scholarship money. Bravo, Rachel and team, truly amazing. Rachel is also the founding partner of Haven Entertainment, a management and production company based in Los Angeles. Haven is a dynamic company that produces award-winning documentaries, feature films, and television shows, represents top writers, directors, actors, and comedians, and collaborates with brands to develop cutting-edge digital content. Additionally, Rachel has produced Under the Electric Sky, which premiered at the Sundance Film Festival and sold to Focus Features, and is the executive producer of the limited Netflix series Devil in Ohio. Rachel specializes in intellectual property and has sold over 28 manuscripts to publishers, which have become national and international bestsellers. Whew, mouthful, so much you've done. Rachel speaks about the entertainment industry regularly, including at UCLA, New York University, the CBS Diversity Program, Alliance of Women Directors, AFI, the American Film Institute, Monterey Film Festival, Monterey, Mexico, and the Rio International Film Festival, Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, and on many podcasts, including John August's Script Notes. And now I am so very excited and proud to bring Rachel Miller to the Small and Gutsy family. Welcome, Rachel. Please share your passion for changing the face of Hollywood. And this really started when you were at NYU. So the floor is yours.
Laura, that was such a great introduction. I feel like I got to take you everywhere. You did it better than I could. And just to give you a little update, actually this week we're at our 140th paid job for our students.
Fabulous.
And we are up to over 350 volunteers a year. And
Amazing.
then we do over 800 hours of programming a year, which is like 4 times the amount of a semester of college. So we are upping our numbers every year,
That's
which
fabulous.
is kind of insane. You know, the quick and dirty backstory is, I'm actually from LA, but did not grow up in the film industry. I did not know that was a career. I didn't even have art in school, let alone like cool things like video.
Mm-hmm.
And at 16, I heard a producer speak while I was doing some community hours that my school forced me to do to graduate. And I begrudgingly went to this thing to like stack chairs. And I heard a producer speak and I was like, wait, that's a job? I could do that? How do I do that? And that really changed my life. And I started interning for Deborah Hill, who was one of the first female producers and sadly has passed away now. And she really changed my life. And she helped me get into a summer program at NYU at their film school at Tisch. And I was like, wait, you're telling me I can go to a college that lets you make film all the time? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that really changed my life. And that summer program helped me get into NYU because I did not have enough money to go to NYU at the time. I actually did film school at 3 years and worked full time.
Wow.
And one of the jobs I had is I ended up teaching public school in Manhattan, which is where I saw this economic divide that happened so fast, so early.
Yeah.
If you don't have parents who can give you the resources for computers and SAT prep and after school programs and food and transportation to after school, you just start falling further and further behind.
Yeah.
And so I graduated, I worked in the industry, I started my own company in 2006 that ended up merging to form Haven Entertainment in 2012. And I started being in meetings where people would say to me, oh, we'd love to hire a qualified, diverse candidate. It's so weird we can't find anyone at USC or NYU that's just ready to go.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And I had said, that is truly the silliest thing I've ever heard in my life, especially because film schools now are $80,000 a year. And you need portfolios and you need computers and you need connections and you need people to help with your essay writing and you need SAT tutors and you need parents or guardians who can get you to an after school program or a summer program to be competitive. And I said, well, if we want to make real change on the output side where people can find qualified, diverse candidates, we have to start in the input side.
Right.
And to do that, you really have to start in high school so that by the time students are 18, they're ready for a job or they're ready for college or they're ready for community college. Whatever the thing is, they're ready to start their path into Hollywood. And what is special about Film2Future is that we are the only completely free program that supplies everything. Computers, Wi-Fi, headphones, backpacks, books, supplies, food, transportation, things that pull students out of after-school programs or summer programs because they don't have the supplies or they don't have the resources.
Right.
We tell families, all you have to do is show up and be creative and work hard, and we will handle everything else.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I have to wonder whether it was your own experience of being mentored, whether it was accidental in the beginning and then just sort of discovering this love and this possibility that you didn't know exist, combined with really what you saw in Manhattan that kind of drove this. And then I have to say, one other thing is you had the guts to start your own company, which is really incredible. I'm just going to say that. And I'm wondering in the future, and this is a guess, and maybe it's happened, maybe it hasn't, that some of the students that go through your program will intrinsically acquire those guts because you have to, right? It's amazing.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's one of your goals. It's not only to work in the industry, but have enough experience and self-esteem to say, if I can do this, because sometimes all it takes is the belief that you can. And then, of course, all of the resources that need to go along with that you've talked about. So is there a physical place where students go because you have all this equipment? So talk a little bit about the program, how it works. You've got these 4 key areas.
Yeah, so we have an interesting model that I think works well for our students and for our volunteer opportunities. We get huge speakers, Jason Kadams, Tony Hacienda, Kristen Shaw, Lauren Bouchard, Ben Schwartz. So we have what I call is a hybrid model. So we do some remote learning. And again, we've set up what I call tech pods for every student. So they have everything they need to learn, including Wi-Fi hotspots at their house, computers, iPads. And then we work with industry partners to do in-person days on campuses with our partners or offices with our partners. So we'll work with companies and we'll go in for the day. We'll go to Disney, we'll go to Sony, we'll go to Framework, we'll go to Boardwalk. So we want our students to be in professional settings. And so that is our model. It's remote plus working with our partners to be in person.
I love that because you're giving them the skills and you're exposing them to what could be in a way that they would never have otherwise had that opportunity. And I just, it's so rich. That's the only word that comes to me is it's just so rich in content and in experience.
Yeah. What I believe, it's not only training, but doing a life skills curriculum, because this business is all about networking. And so part of every session we do at one of our partners, there's a networking hour. We'll bring in kind of desserts and some kind of snacks and then do a network hour, right? Because part of being in this business is being able to talk to people, right?
Yeah.
So we're truly not only doing professional level filmmaking training, but I call kind of professional level life skills training, which is the only way to kind of succeed in this business, right?
I just love that because it's a life skill that actually then can be transferred, whether they stay completely in this industry or take a little bit of a sidestep. It's a skill that will be with them for life. And it's something that I think often gets bypassed within our school system unless you have the resources to be able to acquire it separately. It's not an automatic. And especially if you come from families where that just hasn't been part of their learning.
100%. We do email etiquette workshops, how to write professional emails. We do financial literacy. The truth of the matter, and this is what I saw teaching in public school and even going to a high school in LA, none of these skills are taught. How do you write a resume?
Right.
We do this great, we run it as a contest where there's a prize at the end, but we do a LinkedIn content every year is every student has to have a LinkedIn profile. And then whoever has the most connections by the end of their year wins a prize. But again, it's about teaching being comfortable networking, being comfortable connecting, being comfortable reaching out. And that to me was so important is you can't just be good at filmmaking in this business. You have to be good at life skills. And that is why I think our program is so successful because we believe in teaching all the things, the life skills and the filmmaking skills.
It's great. Do you ever find that some of your students then collaborate together or work together? Talk to me a little bit about that. And then I want to go into each of your programs because it just naturally occurred to me, especially if someone's a little more introverted, that they can build off each other and you're building a community in a lot of ways.
That's exactly it. So my favorite thing, and now that we've been, this year will be year 10. So now, wow, we've been doing. So now we're in the most amazing situation where our older alumni are hiring our younger alumni.
I love it. Oh my God.
And my favorite day is I'll get random texts from alumni of pictures of them on set together and they won't, they'll be like, look who I hired on set. So it's just, the point is building a community. So our students are working on projects together, shooting shorts together, That's the whole goal.
Yeah, it's great.
Building a community so that when they come through our program, they have hundreds of connections, both with their peer group to make things and with kind of the older, more established mentors. So that's been like the best part, is watching students create shorts together and hire each other and work together.
I love that.
And so I can walk you through how our year works. So we work around LA Unified's schedule. We don't obviously take kids out of school. And the way our programming works is we recruit a new class of students kind of January through March.
And tell me a little bit about that recruitment process.
It's a very intense process. I think last year we reached out to over 500 teachers at different schools. We recruit all over LA County, so that's all 50 zip codes, 9 languages being spoken among our students. So we have a very heavy recruitment. Mostly we are focused on schools who have 80% or more on a free lunch. So we are looking at really reaching the most underserved populations in LA County. We don't only work with LA Unified, but our calendar is kind of based around LA Unified. So we do presentations to teachers and schools and nonprofits. And now, of course, we've been doing it so long, we have repeat schools and teachers and alumni who want us to bring in their siblings or their friends. So that's great. We have a really interesting recruitment process. Again, we are not asking people to come in with a portfolio.
Right.
So what we ask for is kind of short essay questions, really about creativity and POV. We ask for an optional piece of any creative content. So it can be a poem, it can be a photo, it can be an essay, it can be a letter. Really, again, just to kind of see your voice and your style. And we ask for 2 letters of recommendation, but they don't have to be from a teacher.
Great.
My favorite story is one of our older alumni wrote a rec letter for his sister. And I was like, you know what?
I love it.
You found a loophole, you walked through it. No.
Good for you. Good thinking. Yeah.
I hated high school. So it's not only teachers, it can be anyone in your world. And then we do an interview process and we talk to the parents. It's a real commitment. So we have a pretty intense recruitment process. And then in the spring, we do spring programming that are remote, working around the school schedule. Everything from critical film theory to storyboard class to editing classes, again, to build connection and community among a new cohort.
How large is the cohort usually?
Each cohort is between 25 to 30.
Perfect. It's sort of a perfect size. And does it start in sort of 9th grade, like the beginning of high school? How do you do that?
Yeah, we aim for the beginning of high school, kind of starting in 9th grade. But really, if you're in high school, you can apply
At any time.
at any time. But the
Right.
goal is to kind of get you in early.
Yeah.
So you can go through more different curriculums, but
Yeah.
we want anyone who's interested, even if you suddenly become interested as a senior in high school, we want you to apply.
I love it.
There's no rules in that way, because for me, I discovered it as a sophomore, but in 9th grade, I was not there yet.
Right. You wouldn't have conceptualized it even as an option.
100%, until I heard someone speak. So we're very open that way. And then in the summer, our summer intensive filmmaking for each cohort starts. So every student has to come up with an idea, write a deck, pitch the deck to our Greenlight committee.
Love it.
So again, learning presentation, learning pitching, learning all the skill sets.
I actually got to watch some of the pitch decks on your website and thought they were so great.
Great.
I love the aunt that had to find a frog to babysit or something.
Yep.
It was just so clever. And then the red string. I mean, there were just some I encourage people to go to your website.
The best and worst day is truly our Greenlight day, because obviously we want to say yes to everyone,
Right.
but we can only make 4 to 5 shorts a cohort. So the most incredible day is watching the pitches, and the hardest day. And our Greenlight committee, we battle it out. We want to make everything.
Yeah. But that's also part of real life, because you're going to do a pitch. You might write something and you might have to pitch it a zillion times for someone to pick it up, or someone never will. It goes on a shelf and you bring it back out another time. So I think you're actually teaching a great skill of resiliency, frankly.
Well, that's the goal of again, everything we do is training at a professional level. Pitching, writing a deck, presenting to a Greenlight committee. And then we pick 4 to 5 shorts to make per cohort. That person who came up with the idea is the director.
Great.
And then our students become producer, editor, costume designer, sound, storyboard artist. They all do all the jobs on the shorts.
Yeah.
And so the filmmaking part of our program is in the summer. And then in the fall, we do our life skills curriculum, portfolio, resume, job interview.
So great.
And then our end of year award ceremony is in December. And then we start back up again. And then on top of that, we're always doing advanced programming for our alumni. So networking, job interview.
Great.
We have worked with a lot of partners who hire us, and by hire, I mean partner with us and donate to do a video for them. So we work with other nonprofits who want our alumni to design a video for them.
I love it.
So our alumni are working on kind of advanced level for a client. They are paid a stipend. They have to pitch.
Gosh, I wonder if I can maybe connect you to some. It would be interesting, right? It'd be great.
Would love that.
It doesn't have to necessarily be local either. It depends if there's enough already. We'll talk offline, but I'd love to be able to be part of that process. It's such a great thing that you're doing.
100%. So we did a program like that for a nonprofit called We Benefit Children, where we had to pitch them. And they picked something and we had to deliver. We had to give notes to a client. So again, we're always running it as close to a professional level as we can.
I love it.
So that's the way our year works. And every year we're expanding our programming. So this year we're going to do 2 new programs, a music video program, which is very exciting.
Love it.
And we actually just got a grant to do kind of a alumni program on climate change.
Oh, that's so great. So you have 4 existing programs and now you're adding 2 more.
Yes, we don't do all of them a year.
At the same time, right. It would be so much. I don't know how you do it. But will you speak to each one, just name them and sort of a 2-minute thing on each one so that my audience really gets a sense of how comprehensive you really are?
Totally. So our animation program, every year, again, we come up with a theme for the year. Students pitch. We pick 4 to 5 to make. You can see them on our YouTube channel on Film2Future. They're great. And again, the students do everything: pitch, design, background, storyboards, voice record. We have been very lucky to work with big sound companies and go to their booths.
That's great.
That's our animation program. Our live action program, the same idea. We come up with a theme, they pitch. And again, our students are doing everything: breakdowns, casting, editing, sound, producing, locations. They have to do releases, right? Now, every group is assigned a paid experienced production supervisor to help their group.
Great.
But the students are emailing cast. They are running the show, right?
Love it.
Again, you're always going to have a line producer ahead of you, even if you're a production coordinator. So we're modeling a real professional environment.
Yeah.
But our students are leading the charge with support.
They need the support. It's like you're not throwing them out to figure it out. You're guiding them where they get to really be in charge of the process, but with support, because this is the first time they're doing this.
100%. And we walk through hundreds of hours of training. There's production books that they have to fill out grids. They have to turn in deliverables. There's assignments.
Yeah.
They get notes. It's as real as possible. So that's live action.
One comment on that is that you're also teaching someone, if they don't like a role or don't like something or realize, wow, this is way more work because it looks so easy when I see it. But the reality is, and that is incredibly valuable.
So funny you say that, because when I speak to my students, I go, guys, 50% is knowing what you don't want to do.
Brilliant.
And I'm very honest with my students. I tell them, I'm like, I did editing at film school and I hated it. I was not meant to be locked in a dark room. It was not for me. And that was important to know.
Yeah.
So
Great.
50% of the battle is being like, oh, I didn't love this job. Okay, now I know. I've tried it.
Yeah. Perfect.
So I say that all the time. And then, there's post deliverables. Again, we're running it. There's due dates as real as possible. In our emerging technology program, we push ourselves and our students to explore new programming, whether that's podcasting we've done or VR.
Love it.
Or we're talking to some gaming companies. So that's our kind of emergency technology. Is it can be anything that's new and upcoming. And then our advertising program is, because that's such a huge piece of business, is working with a partner. We've worked with Deutsch and Steelhead.
That's great.
And we've worked with Hulu and the Jed Foundation. And again, working and advertising, you have to work with clients. You have to understand how the account reps work. So those are our 4 main curriculums. And we're always adding. So this year, as I said, we are doing a climate change program. We're doing a music video program. We're
Wow.
starting to talk to some sports entertainment partners.
Amazing.
Because to me, and Laura, you know this, there's thousands and thousands of jobs in this
Right.
big word entertainment industry.
Right.
But if you don't know about them, how are you going to pursue them?
Right. And not just know, but in this situation, really experience it, try it out, see if it connects with your inner passion, and then go for it and have that support going for it all the way through scholarships and also paid internships.
100%.
So when you have sort of these newer programs coming on board, how do you time things? Because of course you can't do it every single year. I'm sorry, that's probably an unfair question. But you're taking on this enormous industry in this beautiful way because it's not just you care about diversity and diverse voices and closing that gap. That might have been at the beginning of this. But in my opinion, a piece of what you're doing is you're bringing a richness, and I keep using that word, but you're bringing a richness into the entertainment world that previously didn't fully exist. Because anyone coming in at any level that represents a part of culture that isn't the main culture is adding value, like it is on a team when you have a diverse team. So I love this so much because you're really adding, I would call it adding value to the entertainment world or the entertainment industry.
Well, that's often my pitch. And I know this sounds funny, but I tell people is like, you don't have to do this for the goodness of your heart. There's been many studies that I don't need to bring up of more POVs is actually better on a monetary business value, right?
Yes, for sure. Points of view, if people don't know what that is.
Often my pitch is like, I don't actually need you to be a good person or care, that's great. But like, this is better on a revenue side. That's my pitch is like having a bigger aperture in your company is better for business. And
For
that's
sure.
really the goal, right? Is bringing more people in the tent who are qualified to then go into companies and add value.
100%. And I agree, those vantage points allow for deeper dive into their customer base when you think about it, and adding value in terms of what they share from their perspective can put a spin on a product, on an ad, on a film that they're using that actually draws more people to their site or to their product or
100%.
So I absolutely love your vision. I love that you're also, and I think this is something you're probably teaching, it's just a sense I get from just our brief interaction, is that you're truly iterative. You're truly forward thinking, that you have to be, partially because of the industry, but I think it's just naturally probably who you are, curious, and you're driven by changes that occur. You're not threatened by them. And that is a huge thing to both teach and absorb as part of Film2Future's philosophy. I would probably use that word. I don't know if that fits for you.
Laura, you pegged me perfectly. It's like that all those fancy degrees you got, you like looked into my soul.
Evidently, they're working.
Barely.
Believe me, I think it was growing up in a dysfunctional family that actually trained me better
I was like,
than my
wow.
degrees.
You just looked into my soul.
You're so funny.
That's exactly it. Like, I think what I love about in the entertainment industry is we are always changing and you can't be scared to adapt. And I actually think that's a great life school. Like, change happens.
Yeah.
How do you position yourself to not even be ahead of the change, but be able to adapt to the change? And I think that's, in a way, again, it's like the microcosm of being on production. Things will go wrong. Always, every time.
Yeah.
And learning how to be able to adapt in that moment, because you're not going to be able to train for everything, is the actual life skill of something happens, how do you react?
For sure. That's an incredible life skill because you have to turn, you have to be flexible, you have to be adaptable to be able to figure out what do I do. And you have to consult with people sometimes. That's sort of the best part of that brain dump of saying, okay, what should we do? How do we fix this? How do we move forward?
100%. And that's really what I love about the entertainment industry is like, and this is what I believe, entertainment industry, you get all these life skills kind of in this fun way of making shorts. And we do a marketing series. We were very lucky to partner with the Clios. And we've had many students win Clio awards on their student side.
So great.
How do you market something, right? How do you do a poster? Again, these are all great skill sets of how do you convey your ideas to the outside world?
Yeah.
And so that's what I love about the entertainment industry is like, it's fun ways to learn great life skills. Like every group is given a $500 production budget.
Great. Mm-hmm.
Now, what I say to our students is like, look, you guys can spend it how you want, right? You can spend it on, if you want to kind of license a big piece of music, great. But then you have to make choices. And it's a fun way to teach budgeting, or you know this, it's the same as in real life. You get to make choices,
Right.
but those are your
100%.
choices.
Right. Then you're stuck with them if you've made that decision and you got to make the best of it. So I need to ask a couple things because I think these are so remarkable. Failure's got to be part of what I don't mean someone failing, but a project that gets stuck or students who get frustrated. And I know that's part of the resilient building. But I do also think can be a real positive. When something fails, you learn from that. And so, part of that regrouping. So I don't know if you want to speak to a moment of that. And then I'd love to hear some aha moments for you, either with students, with anything that you want to share.
100%. Look, every group gets stuck. Every writer gets stuck. I tell my students all the time, is like, you think you get notes from me, but when you're on a $40 million budget from Netflix, let me tell you, you're also going to get notes, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's the funny thing. I was like, there's nothing I haven't also experienced that my students aren't experienced at the micro level, the same as the macro level.
Yeah.
What we're really teaching is, how do you move forward from being stuck? How do you respond to feedback from notes? How do you respond in a group? And this always happens if someone is not contributing or someone has a different viewpoint or someone doesn't engage. And look, it happens at a professional level, at a student level, at a college level, at a personal level. And that's why we work with so many industry experts because, when you have Jason Kadam's coming in and talking about these things, they're life-changing when you're like, oh, everyone has this. It's not going to suddenly stop when you're a showrunner.
Right.
So how do you work through it?
Brilliant, because it's also humanizing the industry and the experience, even with high-level contributors who have made it, are still struggle often with the same kinds of things. And seeing that is so instrumental for students to know that that can happen. It doesn't mean a setback that you can't move forward from. I just love that. I love the whole way, the whole approach. So share with me any highlights, aha moments, things that were like you didn't expect and something occurred. You probably have a zillion.
I was like a zillion. I think, and this is for me, what I love about teenagers is they're in this great moment of they're eager for life and adulting, but they're still open to learning and they're so resilient. So the year of COVID, shockingly, we were the first productions up and running.
Wow, huge.
So we shot 5 shorts that first summer in June, July.
Amazing.
And we came up with our own COVID protocols. We built what at the time was the first tech pods for students before even LA Unified. And we really thought through, a lot of our students don't have a room that they can be alone in or great internet, right? So how do we build a tech pod? We thought about headphones and hotspots and supplies and backpacks and chairs and fidget spinners. We built our own COVID protocols. And that first summer, not one person got sick, luckily, and infected. There was no spread. No productions were shut down. We kept everyone safe. We made 5 shorts.
Amazing. Wow.
And that model that we kind of had to do was an aha moment of ways to, again, to adapt, to change, to be able to move forward even in a very difficult moment. So that was a huge moment for us. And still to this day, we use a lot of those principles on tech pods for our students and remote learning and worked on, this gets technical as you know it, but teaching methods when you're doing remote learning and how to keep everyone engaged.
Right, which is the hardest thing.
And we redesigned kind of our curriculum teaching method style to a system that we felt worked best for teenagers and remote learning, and we still use that today. So
I love that. That's the silver lining of the COVID, frankly.
Right?
Yeah.
And when I talk about it, it's like, life is not going to be easy. That is the truth. How do you learn? How do you grow? How do you adapt? How do you move forward? If you can learn that now as a teenager.
Amazing skill. I wish I had learned that. Yeah, I would have had less angst. I mean, you still have angst as a teenager and you have angst as an adult, but it's certainly the coping mechanism and the coping strategies is what you're talking about. And I also think with that, it's the community coming together so that you are not having to cope alone. This is why support groups often work, but this is a support group with a method and a piece in mind where people are moving forward. I love that. Any aha or surprise moments with an individual student? You don't have to share names, but any stories that come to mind where you thought, oh, I'm going to lose this person or they're not, and it turned it around, or someone that totally surprised you that you thought, wow.
I mean, so many. I can tell one success story. Again, I won't use any names, but we had a student who is differently physically abled and took our animation program. And most people would say, how does that work? And we adapted and created a system that worked and fell in love with animation, pitched an incredible short that we ended up choosing to make.
Yeah.
He used that short. We helped him get a full ride to NYU Tisch, which as a Tisch alumni, I was like in tears at the full circle moment.
I'm in tears hearing this story. Okay.
I was like, full ride to Tisch based on the short that he did, recommendation letters and all the things. And he's crushing it.
I love this.
He's getting hired as editing for senior theses, independent films, and just watching someone blossom into their chosen path who might not have believed internally that they could pursue this path. And now I joke, I'm like, you're just going to hire me, you're going to rule the world.
I love that. And also that other people, not just the lack of experience or belief that this was possible for him, but I can imagine the roadblocks that this person faced because people are cruel, especially around people who have disabilities or, could be all kinds of things, or they just are dismissive and don't think someone's capable. I think it's just amazing. I'm the parent of a kid who's high-functioning autism who has a master's degree in library and information science and has struggled around securing employment for this very reason and is delightful and amazing. So I applaud you for jumping in and saying, we're going to do this and whatever happens, happens. And look, you gave an opportunity. And as you use the word blossom, which is incredibly beautiful, and he's crushing it, to use your words.
I mean, literally, every time I get an email with updates, I'm like, well, he's going to run a studio shortly.
I love it so much. So you've changed so many kids' lives, there's no question. And even the kid who then prefers another kid or shares what they've done to another kid. So your pool is so much larger than probably what you even realize from the experience of someone watching a film and saying, oh God, a kid did that in this program? This is amazing. So you've really impacted so many more people than I think is illustrated by the numbers. And what's beautiful is it keeps growing. And I love it because it doesn't stop with the one person or their success. As you pointed out, this kid may run a studio himself. Who do you think he's going to hire? Everyone coming out of your program. I mean, it really is. There's a sustainable component to your program that I cannot state enough importance and significance to, because that's what true giving and nonprofit is. The sustainability factor is who's next, what's next, and how do we secure that? And you've done that. And I got to applaud you for it. So yay for you.
That's literally the goal is that, and I tell them every day, I'm like, the truth of the matter is peer groups hire each other, right? They recommend each other. That is the way of the world. And so that's the goal, is that the older ones hire the younger ones and then they mentor the next one. And that the goal is to be self-sustaining. So I appreciate you seeing that because we work very hard on it.
Totally. So toward the end of my podcast, I don't know if you know this, but we always do a round of quick and gutsy questions that are just fun and you can pass on some of it if you want. But I don't think I'm going to let you, Rachel. You're too creative and interesting. I'm sorry. You don't get a pass.
Wow. Let's hope. Let's hope I live up to this
I'm in
hype.
trouble. Right. There's no money or prize at the end of this. I wish there
like,
were.
damn.
No, seriously. No incentive other than just hanging out with me.
I love it.
What is at the top of your wish list for Film2Future? But the answer can't be money or funding. What's at the top of your wish list?
Wait, it can't or can?
Cannot. So you have to be creative in your thinking because, of course, for nonprofits, we're all about resources. So what's at the top of your wish list?
Outside of money, which I'm going to still add.
You should. It's okay.
I'm not going to let that go.
Okay.
Because all nonprofits operate on a shoestring, as you know.
Yep.
Our biggest thing, and we talked about this, I think, before we started recording, is really getting the word out of what we do.
Yeah.
We do not have a marketing budget. We do not spend money on that.
Yeah.
It's something that the harshest critique I get often is, I love you guys, I've never heard of it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm always like, yeah, that's not where we put our budget. So
Right.
I think outside of money, my biggest thing is really spreading the word and the message and the publicity, for lack of a better word, of what
Right.
we're doing would be my top wish.
Yeah, you need that because, of course, then you inspire not just people. You probably have no issue of people wanting to enroll in the program or families, but what you really need is people to really donate and be part of it in lots of different ways. So I have some thoughts, but let's get through the
Love it.
questions, okay? If you were to think of a song that describes film to future, what would it be? And that's hard because I'm asking you to think of a single song, or it could be a lyric. That's okay too.
You know, it's funny. My husband's in music and he's very good at this game. I don't know that I'm the best at this game. I mean, look, I'm a huge Beyonce fan. Any song that makes you get up and dance and do the thing and be proactive
Yeah.
is kind of what I think. I know it's not a real answer, but this is not my area of expertise. But anything Beyonce is generally what I'll say.
I think anything Beyonce is great, and she's got great energy, and she brings people together, and there's a piece of diversity in her messaging. So yes, perfect.
Great.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's a great answer. So you're off the hook on that one. It's usually the first thing that pops into people's head, and oftentimes it's an artist because of the way that they bring people together. And Beyonce really has overcome things in her own life and has done an amazing job of bringing people together, I think. What makes Film to Future gutsy? You're certainly gutsy. What makes you gutsy?
Ooh, maybe you should answer this, Laura. Maybe I throw these questions back to you and you tell me the answer because you like saw it to my soul. I think we're gutsy because our focus is careers and jobs. And I think there are a lot of great nonprofits out there, but we are looking towards not only changing lives, but changing lives through jobs, careers, and thus changing the industry. And that's the piece that I think we're really gutsy about. It's not art for art's sake, which is great. It's careers.
Right.
You know, and that's what we really push on.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting thing. I think it absolutely makes you gutsy because I think you're changing the industry by doing that, and also by bringing in diverse voices that would have otherwise perhaps not been heard or heard much later and with a completely different struggle. So I love that. What is something that outsiders or even insiders don't know about Film to Future?
I think what I tell people the most, again, is I want to prepare our students so then when they get to set or get into an office job, they are ready to crush it.
Yeah.
I think people, what I've seen is they have this weird chip on their shoulder that if they hire someone, it's like a quote unquote charity hire.
I can't stand that.
And it's the worst. And when I tell people, it's like, no, when our alumni are going to get into set or get into your office or get into the job, you know, whatever the thing is, you are going to watch them crush it and hire them and hire and hire, which we've seen consistently. I mean,
Beautiful.
I have an alumni who came through our program, is now not only the showrunner's assistant, but is on set with him every day.
I absolutely love that. And in fact, my guess is they may see people who are not performing in the same way because they haven't had that level of discipline. And so just to keep on your students to say, live up to your potential and you will succeed. And I think that's a wonderful answer to that question.
100%. You know, my favorite story is one of our first year students who did not know he wanted to be in the business now has worked on huge shows, Netflix, Glow, Hacks.
Love those shows.
The new Bosch. He's now hiring our alumni, but he just said to me he's trying to enter the AD union program side, right? And that's the type of level when I tell people that our students are trained, they are ready to go and they will not only crush every job, you will keep hiring them back.
I love that. And AD is assistant director. Just for my audience.
Sorry, Laura, I'm just,
I just want to make sure I have the
just,
lingo and it's not my field.
Yes,
that was
you
a
got
good
it.
guess. This is going to be a hard question for you, but there may be multiple, so I'm preparing you. If you could get one celebrity or influencer to talk about Film to Future, to really spread the word, who might that be?
Oh, that's an easy. Zendaya. I'm obsessed with
Okay.
her. Like, I love Zendaya.
I love that.
I would also, you know, I think I always think about it as someone who is connected to our students and who they relate to,
It would be
right?
great to get her. Yeah, unbelievable.
That's my wish board list. You know how fast I was to answer that.
Yeah, you were. That was incredible. So now you have to put that effort with you. Believe it, it's going to happen, right? We're going to make that happen.
Love it.
So any other last comments or thoughts that you feel you didn't get to share? I want to give you a moment to share that.
Ooh, Laura, these are so good. You're killing it.
So sweet.
Jeez. I think what I would tell everyone, there's a million ways to get involved with a nonprofit.
Yeah.
I think everyone thinks it's money, but we have industry experts.
Yeah.
We have some people who are just well connected and say, I can introduce you to people.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I have found is people get so almost stuck of like, I can't donate $1 million, so I'm not going to get involved. Or I can't give 500 hours or whatever they think in their head.
Yeah.
Just know that if you are passionate about something, I promise you there's an organization out there who would love to connect with you. Reach out.
Yeah.
You
for
never
sure.
know, right? We have someone who's just makes introductions and says, and that's great, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have someone who's like, I can get you swag. Great. Our students love swag. So I would say to people, don't stop yourself from reaching out to any organization because you're passionate about it. There's a million ways to get involved besides money and time. And any organization, or at least the organization that I have worked with, are dying to hear from people who are proactive and will find a way to work with you.
What a beautiful message. And most of my guests, and I'm just going to say this because it's kudos to you, will always do a last comment generally about their organization. And yours was really a global one to say, get involved in whatever you're passionate about. And you really touched my heart in that because it really speaks to kind of deeply who you are as a person. It just does. And I love that. Anyone out there who wants to get connected, I encourage you to really check out Film2Future. So what's the best way for people to reach you?
Film2Future.org is on the website. There's a click button. There's an easy way to contact us, email us, again, for anything, right? You never know. That's the best way. We have a Film2Future on our YouTube if you want to see our student shorts, which are amazing. That's the easiest and best way. Obviously, we're on the socials, Instagram especially. But yeah, I think to answer that comment, I think I did not set up to start a nonprofit. Trust me.
Yeah.
I just saw a place that I could be useful. And I think all we can do in this world is help locally, is find something you're passionate about and connect with them. So somehow, I don't know how, Laura, but now I raised my hand in 10. We're going into our 10th year.
It's amazing.
Which somehow was a blink in of an eye and also 1,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I tell people. It's like, if you find something locally, get involved. You know, you never know how an organization will need you. I did not know that this would last 10 years.
It's beautiful.
That's what I tell people is everyone needs help. And if you can do something in your field of passion, you never know the ripple effects.
Never. It's so true. And I really commented on that before. You have no idea how many people you've impacted. It's a zillion times more than just the numbers that you have.
Hope so.
For sure. Yeah, I have no doubt. So I just want to take a moment to thank you for spending time with me. It was so fun and such a pleasure to get to know you. And I welcome you to the Small and Gutsy family, knowing that you have huge impact on so many people. So thank you, Rachel. This was so fun.
Well, Laura, you were a delight and asked such good questions. So I thank you for having me on. And, you know, circling this full circle moment, one of our board members made the introduction, you know, you never know.
Right.
You don't know how all the pieces fit. So thank you, Chase, for making the introduction. And this was such a joy to be on, and you asked such great questions. And excited to be part of this family.
Yeah, thank you. Please go to smallandgutsy.org to check out all of our episodes. And if you're so inclined, please purchase some Small and Gutsy merchandise, consider sponsoring an episode, or making a donation. Both are tax deductible and help keep us going and spotlighting these great organizations. The opinions and viewpoints expressed by our guests are independent and don't reflect the position or views of Small and Gutsy. Of course, we can't take responsibility outside of our own vetting of the organizations we interview, so before you sign on to support or work for them, we encourage you to do your own due diligence and research them as well. I want to thank my partners in this endeavor, the Intrinsic Group, the donors, the sponsors, and my incredible board of directors, Brianna Carmichael, John Gatto, Lucy Mello, Ari McCoy, Melissa Greitz, and Serena Rajabian, who believed in me in this project enough so to sign on to support this effort, and all the folks, friends, and family who have guided and inspired me. And thank you for listening. Together, we are spreading social impact, and you can help us. If you like this podcast, please share it with your friends. And don't forget to email me the name of any organization you feel would benefit from being interviewed, from small and gutsy to big with impact. I'm Dr. Laura Shirk-Witkoff, and thanks for listening.